Well, hello, my friends. Welcome to our call-in show. It is Thursday night, and so this is the time where, by custom, we touch in with the audience, see what you guys are up to. Looks like the locals chat is already up and rolling. Good to see you guys out there. Got some of you folks over on YouTube as well. I know we're a little bit new to doing that, but it's cool to see you there as well. The phone line is open. Did I just miss our first call? Holy moly, you guys are on the ball. All right, my bad. I'm paying attention now. I saw it just go to voicemail. Apologies. The line is open. That means you guys already know it is. It's the 818 number for this month. This will be the last call-in special of June before we do a no phone number. For those of you who don't know, if you guys want to be a caller, you have to be a subscriber on Locals, or you can be a station, whatever, channel member. Everyone has a different name for it. You could be a subscriber on X. You could be a subscriber on Locals. You can be a member, suspendable class member over on YouTube. All those things will get you in. So that's the way to do it.
+1.
We got our first caller on the line.
Subscriber on X.
Coming right at you. You want to turn down your audio.
Yeah.
Who am I talking to?
This is Stevie Wonder. He's
I
back.
suspected you were. Sir, are you out doing some walks? You getting some steps in or what?
My leg is jumping up and down. I'm so excited to get on. But, last night, sitting on the sofa, I went from 2,200 steps to 5,000 watching, some War Games movies.
What kind of War Games movies you watching?
Oh, God, I can't even remember at this point. It's just, it all has to do with what's going on right now in this country and the world. And basically, first thing I wanted to talk about was with Renzo.
All right,
okay?
Mr. Yep.
I was trying to get in touch with you guys a couple of weeks ago when Renzo was talking about my congressman, Thomas Massey, saying he's got to understand the system.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas Massey is my congressman. I have shaken hands with him multiple times. I got him elected to office. I support him wholeheartedly. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not Thomas Massey that's the problem. It's the system.
Yep.
We need more Thomas Masseys. We do not need the go along, get along attitude. That's the problem we've got right now. And so I just want to say Massey is a man of principle. And yeah, I don't agree with his latest thing about, the bombing in Iran. Okay. But, I do understand where he's coming from as a principled, congressman.
Yep.
And, we're entitled to disagree on that. I admire the guy and I support him 100%.
Did you ever watch him on Junkyard Wars?
On what?
That's a no then. So he used to be on the show years ago, probably in the early 90s, maybe mid 90s. And it was called Junkyard Wars. And it was these sort of like nerdy engineer type guys. And they were in jumpsuits and they would get a task, like build some kind of a thing. And these people would go through a junkyard and grab parts. And then they would fabricate whatever the machine was. And then they would test it. And maybe it was like a pneumatic catapult trebuchet thing, or maybe it was like a vehicle that would drive, a 2,000 pound load, over bumpy ground or whatever it was. They had task of the day. And they were just a bunch of these like interesting systems and mechanical and mechanics, but various different engineers and stuff like that. And Massey was one of the people on there. And he's, skinny, and it was a long time ago. It's really funny to watch. It was, one of the early reality TV shows where they were doing these sort of brainiac challenges, I guess. It's pretty neat. It
does not surprise me.
No, it's...
You know how he made his money?
I do not.
He was at MIT.
Okay.
He was with a professor. They developed several patents on haptic response mechanisms.
Okay.
Haptic response mechanisms are like on your cell phone when you hold down the power off button and it vibrates as it shuts down. That is called a haptic response.
Sure.
It is a feedback mechanism to let you know something is reacting to you. He has several patents in that field, and he left MIT, I think, $30 million.
Back when that meant something, back in the day, right?
Well, that was just not that long ago, okay, before he became a congressman. And of course, before that, he was a judge executive here in Kentucky, which is at the county level, the top political level at the county.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm out in rural Kentucky. And so, the guy, he got lucky. I went to Georgia Tech, and I didn't have that kind of backing. I think I had the intelligence. I don't know if you know, Massey wears a lapel pin.
Yep, with the debt.
Displays the national debt clock.
Yeah, which he designed himself.
I can do one of those myself.
Well, we need one of those. What's going on? We should put that behind me. What's going on? Let's get this done.
Well, it's not a big deal. I mean, it really isn't. The parts you're talking about are like $5 or so, and it's easy to program, and it's been out there. And of course, the problem is that you're going through China to get all the components.
Isn't that something we used to go to? Where did the components come from? When they used to have Radio Shacks, which I don't think they have anymore. Where were those from? Korea? Taiwan?
Taiwan.
Yeah.
And actually, back in the early days of the PC, this is why I will never sell an Acer computer again, or an Acer monitor, or anything else having to do with Acer.
Mm-hmm.
I was installing networks across the country.
Okay.
I had a customer out in L.A. whose customer was Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
His pension plan was through this guy, and I installed them, and I put a server in there, and basically it was an Acer computer that IBM had chosen as being their IBM PCAT replacement. Mm-hmm. As far as best quality, best compatibility, okay, as IBM moved out of the business because they couldn't compete in the compatible market. 2 years in these machines, I had a server in Kentucky and a server in LA fail within 2 months of each other. Mm. When I say fail, they quit operating with what at my time was state-of-the-art 10 megabit per second token ring, which is now a dead technology.
Sure.
But I sent one motherboard off to the token ring card company. I sent the other one off to Acer.
Okay.
Acer replaced it, no problem, and it had the same problem. The one I sent off to the token ring company said that what was going on was the clock chip on the motherboard had a rounded pulse. Basically, the heart of every computer system is a clock rate of 64 megahertz, 64 million times a second, or 64,000 times a second. Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to be a square pulse. Hmm. So it's straight up to a voltage, across at that voltage, and then straight down to zero.
Got it. Okay.
This was rounded. In other words,
it was increasing up to the point and plateauing, and then it was dropping back off at sort of a instead of square. Okay.
The width of the pulse was not long enough to stay up with the network card.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it was because Acer bought their components in the global market. Basically wherever you could get the part, that chip part, that clock chip.
Yep.
And basically it had what's the word I'm looking for? Adolescence, not adolescence. Designed in that it would fail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what do they call it? Designed obsolescence.
Obsolescence, mm-hmm. Exactly. And so that's when I said I sold 12 Acer computers into an insurance company in Connecticut. I had 8 failures in the first 3 months, and I had signed them on a 30-day repair warranty program through Acer, and Acer did not honor it. Okay.
Scumbags.
And so that is literally how far back I go in this business. And so, you know, Thomas Massey, I'm with him as a nerd, and I know exactly where he's coming from. And like I say, the other thing is that guy is doing exactly in Congress the job I want him to do.
That's what I expected.
Okay.
Now, you've riled up our friend Renzo, so he has now said it's on, and I expect a rebuttal at some point. But I agree with you. The job of a congressman is not to represent what the MAGA people want or what people on Twitter want or what Renzo wants if Renzo's not a constituent. I believe Renzo's somewhere in New York. So I agree with you. He's doing the thing that people know what they're getting with Thomas Massey. They know what they're electing.
Exactly. So here's the second thing, and I'll try to make this short. But I just spent $2,500 on testing on my long COVID condition.
Okay.
$1,000 of that was in gene testing.
Okay.
And I found out what you do not want to do. My attitude was that I know that they can detect the difference between the spike protein in the vaccines and the spike protein that came with what we call the viral SARS-CoV-2.
Yep.
Okay. Those spike proteins are different. And the reason they're different is because the RNA strands in the vaccine spike proteins are misspelled. You look into the genetics of RNA, basically there's only like 5 or 6 letters, CART, and a couple of others. And basically every DNA strand is composed of like 6 characters, like cat, rat, tar, cat, okay, rat, act. And basically the sequences in the RNA in the vaccines are misspelled.
In other words, they're in a different order than normal?
There is no natural order that they're in. And so our body doesn't know how to react to them. Our body has a catalog of the good stuff. Okay, we know you by your signature. Diseases, we got antibodies for here. We know you're bad, okay, because of your signature. And here comes this new signature, okay. Hell, we don't know what to do with this, okay. And see, there are research facilities out there that can distinguish between the spike protein in the vaccines and the spike protein in the
viral load.
Virus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The virus. Now, the problem is this. There is not a test out there to show you that.
Oh, interesting.
The thousand I spent on the gene testing, I was going to show me, malformed genes and things like that.
Does it give you does that genetic sequencing you're doing, does it actually give you the actual sequence? Will it give you the so they're not base pairs, they're individuals, right? So it's single stranded. Does it give you that?
It's a whole genome, but it is the disease genome, okay, that they are dealing with. And as an example, my $1,000 told me that I had a gene that said I was susceptible to God, I had this condition for years, pancreatitis.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And then until the VA removed my gallbladder, I had these pancreas attacks. And indeed, I've got a gene that said I was susceptible to that condition.
Sure.
The major condition, okay, and this is where I think it's all bullshit. Okay. The major condition that I'm susceptible to is breast cancer.
Well, there, Stevie, it's 2025. They've redefined the rules. So, Better watch out.
I know.
We're
Well,
having a
the
lot of
whole thing
difficulty
is,
defining what a woman is these days. So, you know,
I get it. But the whole thing is, I just wanted to let you know, the gene testing I thought I was having done was not being done.
yeah.
And the blood testing, basically all of my $1,500 in blood testing,
Mm-hmm.
which is looking for inflammation markers. And basically, my condition is this. My right leg at this point, my right foot, I'm suffering from two conditions. One is called drop foot.
Yep.
Okay. The other one is called, it's where the outer muscle, the muscle on the outside of your foot is grown weak, and the inner muscle is so strong, it's pulling your foot under. So when you walk, you're not coming down flat footed, you're coming down on the outside edge of your foot.
That is it's an over, is it pronation or supination? It's pronation, I think.
Supination.
Supination is what you over supinate?
It's supination.
Okay.
Supination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the thing
there
is,
was a time, Stevie Wonder, there was a time when I knew both of those and I could have told you what they were. And it's been enough time that I've been away from doing medicine stuff I know the words, but I can't remember which one is which.
Here's the thing. I noticed this 3 years ago, the supination condition.
Yeah.
This was long before I got into the pain and suffering and the drop foot,
mm-hmm.
because I had bought some slippers from My Pillow, and I ordered a pair, and after 2 months, I was sliding off the back of them to the outside because my foot, all the weight was coming down on the outside edge. They repaced them, and the same thing happened to the next set of slippers.
Just wore through them.
So I just had no idea what the condition was. So I was already suffering from that 2-3 years ago and did not recognize it.
What kind of sneakers do you wear?
Well, I'm in New Balance.
You're in New Balance.
Okay.
Have you ever looked at Ultras?
And what?
They're called Ultra. They're ALTRA.
No, I have not. And the thing with whatchamacallit, with the New Balance.
Yeah.
So I like them. I've had them for years, and they come in wide where a lot of these do not. And they also are recommended for the conditions that I'm suffering from.
Yep.
Because they actually have, in certain models, I'm buying the 680, I think it is.
Okay.
And that is the one with the curled up nose. Okay. So it's bringing the nose of the foot up, to help against the drop foot condition.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one's oversized. I wear an 8.5, but I use 9.5, and that's because I'm getting AFOs. I got an AFO to work with the drop foot. Unfortunately, what that did was that caused a bunion to form on my foot, very painful, and so now I'm treating that with DMSO, and the DMSO is also my treatment for all of my nerve deadness, because I think it all comes down to my blood vessels being attacked by the spike protein. My oxygen to my nerves has been cut off, and so they have died, the nerves feeding my muscles in my foot and the nerves feeding my, of course, pain. Okay.
Yep.
And basically, DMSO lets you absorb oxygen through your skin directly into your cells, like your muscle cells, your nerve cells, without going through the blood system. And so now I'm doing DMSO twice a day.
Are you getting any relief out of that?
Well, I did not realize I was supposed to be doing it twice a day.
I see.
And so I've just started that recently, and I actually think it is improving in what I'm seeing there. And this will tie into this also, and this is what's wild about the whole thing.
Okay.
Have you been following the whole discussion about body temperature worldwide being in the 97s?
That people in general are losing body temp from what we originally considered to be.
Absolutely. Since the introduction of the vaccines, globally, broad body temperature has dropped into the 97s.
Interesting.
Okay. And I followed this for the last 2 to 3 years. My body temperature has been in the 97s. Okay. And I told a friend, I said, get a thermometer, measure your temperature. Well, he went home and he found out his thermometer wasn't working. So
that's the number one thing you find out.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
Yep.
And so I decided to take my body temperature, and lo and behold, my body temperature is back in the 98s. And the thing is that basically my glucose, I was declared diabetic back in 2022 with the VA.
Yep.
And my glucose is 108, which is a 5 point something A1C, which is very good. My weight is at 186 now, and I have not been at that weight since 1999.
Nice.
My blood pressure is 110/60, average for the last month.
Nice.
That is with me cutting my lisinopril prescription by 75%. Okay. Because my blood pressure was actually going, my blood pressure was actually going to 90/40.
That's a little low. That's a little low unless you're pregnant. Are you possibly pregnant? Could you be pregnant?
I'm not a woman. Oh, and my testosterone level is up.
Is
my
it?
Testosterone level, they told me that's the one thing the $1,500 in blood test showed me.
Yeah.
Was my testosterone level was a 20-year-old.
Nice.
Okay. So
are you swinging an axe too? Are you doing like manly stuff that's feeding this need?
Absolutely not.
Wow, you need to be. I feel like you should be throwing an axe around.
I know. And of course, you got to understand something about long COVID.
Yeah, I know. It takes a lot of things out.
The fatigue factor is just unbelievable.
I bet.
In the mental fog, I mean, it's just, I just can't face it.
Yeah, I believe you. I'm gonna tell you some other options you have on shoes if you're curious. I also am a supinator, just naturally. I'm an underpronator, which is to say over supination. And so I use these shoes called, there's a lot of different brands that do what you're talking about. New Balance is one that people are familiar with. They're everywhere. But if you want to go into like a real running store specifically, they make what's called a wide toe box. So the shape of the shoe, rather than pointing at the point, at the toe, where you see a lot of these shoes narrow in them, they actually make theirs look more like a bare foot that you see. So it has a like an expansion. They're really comfortable for people that have bunions. They're comfortable for people that do ultra marathons, and they make them. That's why it's called ultra, because as people run like really, really long distances, their feet swell, as you can imagine. Actually, all of our feet swell throughout the day, but people who run long distances, 40, 50, 150 miles, their feet get pounded and they actually do expand. And so they take up more space down in the toe box. So they make these shoes specific for that. I found these a couple years back. I broke a bunch of bones in my lower leg running in the military and beat the living hell out of them. And this company, Ultra, they made a shoe because they couldn't find what they were looking for. They actually made their first pair. I think they said they took some other shoes, they cut off the bottoms, and they ended up trying to make like generally what they call like a neutral. So there's no drop in the front or the back. But they make different sort of things, and their stability and their motion control, and there's all these different little things they like to do. The one you might look at is called the Olympus. You can check them out. But if you go into any running store and you tell them you're a supinator, they will know exactly which ones to do. Any real running store, they'll give you a walking shoe too, and you can get them with significant amounts of foam for real soft padding, and you can get them with almost none. And some people want that as well because it drops some of the weight of the shoe and so on. So anyway, but if you've never tried them, if you've never put them on, and if you've only done New Balance, check out Ultras at some point. Hoka makes some too. There's a couple of other companies out there that are making them that are pretty. Saucony makes a decent running shoe. Sometimes ASIC makes them as well. But all the running shoe companies now also cater towards the specific way that your foot strikes the ground if you go to a running store And you can also
Right.
look online and find, there's a million running store blogs. Everybody's obsessed with how their foot hits the ground. So runners are neurotic about this because they get so many foot strikes.
Exactly. All right. A couple of other things, and we'll wrap it up. One is, me bringing my body temperature back up to 98.
Yep.
With my blood pressure being so low, I'm on 4 blood thinners.
Yep.
Okay. I'm on a Pixaban, or otherwise known as Eliquis, and I'm on a 325 aspirin,
Uh-huh.
a full-size aspirin. I'm also on, I've been on ivermectin.
Yep.
For a year, and that's also kind of a blood thinner.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is a blood thinner from Italy, which I have to get from Russia.
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, and this is because I'm a member of the Crow Indian Nation, and the clinic I'm with is an Indian Nation, is the First Nation tribal clinic.
Got it.
And therefore, they do not come under U.S. FDA rules and regulations.
Sure.
And so they can prescribe anything to me in any state, regardless of whether it's FDA approved or not. And so I've been on this Sulodexide for 6 months. And the thing about Sulodexide, it's been in Italy for 30 years, very safe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Unapproved here in the U.S. by the FDA. And the thing about Sulodexide is the blood clots created by the spike protein are not normal blood clots.
Yeah, I remember you talking about microclotting.
Well, microclotting, and these are fibrin blood clots.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I don't know if you've seen the stuff from the mortuaries where they've pulled these foot-long rubber clots out of cadavers.
Yep.
Okay. That's basically what these are, fibrin blood clots. And Sulodexide works against those kind of blood clots, and they repair endothelial and epithelial damage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I've been on that for 6 months, just got my next order. It's on its way to me. And, it's not being stopped by Biden like it was back in November.
That's right.
Yeah. And I mean,
I remember.
You laugh at that, but
I remember you told me.
I'm gonna tell you something. I think I don't know if you saw the latest news about what's going on in the FDA.
Nuh-uh.
And the advisory panel that got thrown out, right?
Yep.
And you got the 8 new appointees. Well, did you hear that the FDA is now going around the advisory panel?
I did not, but that checks. Perfect.
Well, you need to check that out. The FDA internally is going around the advisory panel. They really don't care if the advisory panel recommends a vaccine or not. They are working with the drug companies to go around the advisory panel.
Yuck.
And as far as I'm concerned, we're talking sedition here. And to me, what we're looking at for this whole thing, what I found out from all my testing, the thousands of dollars I spent, there are no tests out there to give me markers or goals that I can operate against to see if I'm improving my condition.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything else I've got. Blood pressure, every other thing I can measure.
Yeah, there's a metric.
I'm doing great. But all the pain level I'm at, the dead nerves I've got,
nothing.
Dead muscles, there's no tests that show me the condition and how to treat it.
Yeah.
So not only there's no test, there's no cure. Okay, and I think the only way we're going to get around this is to declare war on the spike protein and ramp up, testing and, cures for conditions across the board. And when I say across the board, I mean outside the mainstream medical and pharmacological world. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and along with that, I would love for you to sometime get Dr. Merrill Nass on your show. Have you heard of Dr. Merrill Nass?
I have not.
You need to get her on your show. She's this silver-haired lady from somewhere up in the Northeast who is a biological warfare expert. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she's lost her license to practice. She doesn't care because she's in her 80s.
Yep.
And she's retired, so she could give a shit about her. She has not lost her license. And here's what's interesting. All these doctors are having their licenses to practice taken away from them, like Dr. Pierre Corey, who I'm under.
Yep.
Okay. They lose their license to practice a specialty.
Got it.
Dr. Pierre Corey was an ER surgeon. ER.
Yep.
Okay. ER certified. And so, and what's her name? Merrill Nass, same thing. She lost all her licenses. Actually, Dr. Pierre Corey has testified, and I think he actually prevented her from losing her licenses. But the thing is that she is so deep into this stuff. She is watching the WHO and our participation in the WHO, the World Health Organization.
Right.
She has the biological warfare background, and, she's a medical background acquainted with ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and the other off-label type situations. Okay. And I think you would find it very, very informative for your audience to get her on and just chat,
If she's interested, I've got her name sitting on my list here. I see a picture of her on the screen.
Good. And I will.
People can see I'm looking at it over here.
I'm a follower of her on Rumble, and I'll whip off a thing to her, see if I can get her to approach you. So I don't know how this works. And do me a favor, will you?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how you did it the last time, but you gave me the name of your friend in New Mexico with the VA.
Yes. I can't. What do we email? Do we do an email?
That?
Okay.
I don't know. I can't find it.
Okay. Did we? I think we did an email. Email me again. I'll go look at my emails. I think I have your email in there, but if not, email me over at info. It's info@kylesarafin.com.
Okay.
So real easy. Shoot me an email and I'll connect you with my guy again.
I'll go check for it.
Okay, very good. And that may be connected in there, and you may just find it in your emails too if you look for info@kylesarafin if you didn't delete it.
Exactly. Gotcha. All right, so that's it. I hope I haven't held on to you too long.
Well, I think we've burned out some of Renzo's aggression, so we're going to hear about his Tom Massey alternative beliefs in a minute. Most likely, I think he's probably been pawing the ground. But other than that, I appreciate the convo and I appreciate the info. And we've got a maybe potential guest for the future, so I've got her name down here too. And
one other thing I forgot for you. You mentioned blurred screen on your video.
Okay.
I've seen that on my videos when I do online classes, video streaming, and it's when my video streaming is set to auto, and my streaming is being dropped down to 240. I have found that if I stream at 720, everything works fine. And so it tends not to generate as much bandwidth, takes up less bandwidth transmitting and receiving.
Yep.
That 720p. So I just wanted to mention that to you.
That's fair. I send this stream out in 4K. We got enough bandwidth for it now. I actually have a failover router I just got in, so I'm going to be able to run it on. I'll be able to run both my networks at the same time through the same a dual wide area network router. So that should be the next step. We're doing redundancy,
Well,
Stevie. We're doing 2 is 1 is none, military style over here on everything.
and I'm on a 2 gig fiber optic line myself.
I like it. That's the way to do it. I don't know what you're going to do with all that extra bandwidth, but you got it if you need it, right?
Well, and the whole thing is, I don't tend to have problems with, although I do sometimes. And I was noticing this on you. I was seeing that we were buffering, okay? And so that had to be coming from your end, not from my end, because I certainly had the bandwidth to handle it, you know? And so I'm like you. I think there's something there in the mix that's crossing pipelines, and is not just restrained to one particular media. Okay.
Yep.
Which would be suspect, right?
I tend to think so too. One day I'll live in that world where I don't have to worry about that, maybe, but it's not today. Not today at all. I'm too suspicious.
You got it.
All right, sir.
Well, I'm following it, so good talking to you.
Likewise, I enjoyed it. Thanks so much.
Bye.
All right, have a great night. All right, if Renzo wants to make a claim, he can make a claim for the opposite of the defense of Thomas Massey. I want to try these. I'll try throwing on this lo-fi beats in the background here, folks. Can you guys hear? Chat, give me a thumbs up if you hear it. The tune's kind of cruising in the background at a low volume. Last time we had it on, I think I had it turned down too low. But I think we've got a way to be able to keep some background music that's kind of loungy. There's some thumbs up. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so the phone line is open. Oh goodness, there he is. There's Renzo right there, I bet. 1 second. Let's bring a man on the line. Caller number 2, you're on the line. Who's on the line?
Hey, what's up there, Carl? It's Renzo.
You son of a bitch. I knew it would be you.
I'm just, hold on. I'm trying to explore.
You weren't ready for that.
Yeah.
Threw you off.
Yeah, you got me. It was quick. Usually it rings a couple times.
Yeah, well, I saw it kick on right there. I saw the screen change. So, all right. We got a little bit of background music. You got the lounge music, Renzo? Can you hear it?
Yes, I like it.
Kind of a it's like a chill vibe. I'm gonna try to mellow you out here in your aggression against Tom Massey. All right, what's your response? What's your rebuttal? You get the line.
Okay. All right, so Stevie doesn't understand. I'm not really disagreeing with him and Tom Massey, although I do disagree with him on the Israel issue.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm like, he's ineffective. And so today I went and I asked Strong, because I was like, I keep saying that he's ineffective, so I wanted to make sure that at least I had the information to support this.
Okay.
So what I've come up with is that Thomas Massey has really co-sponsored or sponsored no legislation that was ever passed that has any notable. I mean, he hasn't passed anything. So the most notable thing that was passed that he was associated with was the Puppies Assisting Wounded Service Members for Veterans Therapy Act.
Okay.
That was his notable accomplishment.
That's pretty mellow as far as accomplishments go, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he also co-sponsored the CARES Act, which everybody hates.
Yeah, I do.
So,
well, let me challenge you about this. How many laws do you want Congress passing every year?
I want Congress to pass one law that eliminates 2 laws every year.
Right. So anybody who's passing more laws is not on our team, I would think. Wouldn't you think?
But in order to get rid of the law, all of these ridiculous laws, you have to pass laws to get rid of them.
Rescinding laws only. Yeah. What if he starts? Because I've actually talked to Massey. I think I actually did it on a Twitter space where we were talking, voice to voice. And I said, my ideal Congress comes in on day one and says the entire scaffolding of American laws are garbage. We're going to throw them all out. We repeal all federal law, and we're going to start from scratch. And the repealing goes in on the last day of the term. So for the next 2 years, we are going to just write and put together and pass laws that will go into effect all at once from a brand new framework. And he was like, yeah, I could get behind that right away. I mean, that's the kind of problem-solving thought that should happen. It's not going to happen unless we have a massive revolution, as far as I could tell.
Exactly.
I mean, these people are entrenched, and we're just building. We're building on a scaffolding that is so unsteady and so shaky and so full of bullshit. I mean, it's layer upon layer of nonsense, and the laws overlap, and they redefine things, and they slightly change a word when they pass a new, single pager in 1,000 pages of other stuff. I mean, it's just, it's unsustainable at this point.
And that's where I agree with Stevie. It's the system. It's not so much the people want to do all this stuff. The system is just meant and created to do that. That's what they built the system for. So the minute that they stopped passing single appropriation bills and went to just passing these omnibuses,
yes,
they did that to circumvent the system that was set up in order to create debate to keep limits on spending and balance budgets, or at least pretend to. Like, there's no more illusion at all at what the goal is. It used to be the goal was we want to try to pass a balanced budget. Now the goal is to try to convince people that all the spending is good for you.
That's right. Well, and there's also a big chunk of it. And the other chunk of it is what they did in 1946 with the Administrative Procedures Act, where they basically gave away the need to explicitly state what each individual law requires of each individual executive agency. And when that happened, and they allowed these agencies to start of create their own rules out of their mandates and then pass them with force of law. That's what the APA essentially did. When that happened, you ended up with a scenario where they would say, well, this is the amount of money we need to be able to accomplish that, which is why you start having these executive agencies going with their own budgets. In a real world, Congress would be the one deciding what things are worth, what they cost, and how much money we're going to give you, and then go do the thing we told you explicitly for the money we gave you. But they don't do that. It's too hard for them to do their job, or it is at this point. And I think that was kind of the point of today's podcast, if we break it down, because that's what this theater is. They're basically giving you an excuse to think that their job is not the job they have. It's like having a receptionist. And the job of the receptionist is to answer the flipping phone. Pick up the phone, say the name of the company, and then pass it on to the person out there. And the receptionist has decided that her job is actually to polish all the windows and to put pretty flowers on all the tables for anyone that might walk into the front room, and to make sure that the windows are clean and the pillows are all fluffed. And so she's telling you, like, look how great my pillows look, and look at these beautiful flowers I've arranged, and by the way, the windows are glistening clean. And you're like, you don't answer the damn phone. That's all you're paid to do, is answer the phone. I don't need all that shit. Like, if I wanted someone to come and do interior design, I would have hired that person. So Congress does the job they want to do and not the job they're actually hired to do. That's my take on it.
And that's the thing. But now imagine what the big, beautiful bill would be, because that in that bill there's like a bunch of stuff that says, here's like $100 million for something, and then DHS will figure out what to do with the money.
Of course.
And this was and if it actually stated what all the money would be spent on, that would be another 5,000 pages long.
Yeah, that's why they should be doing. They should be doing single issue, fully fleshed out, like you said, appropriations, and they should be doing single issues, definitions, and funding the things that they want to see done. They don't do that. That's hard work. That's what your whole, I thought that's what the purpose of your freaking staff was for. That's why we give them the budget we have, for them to hire all those people to come in and write up policy and to put together this information. They don't do that. So instead, they write up stupid questions, and they ask people gotchas, and they try to get sound bites, and they go do hits on Fox News, and they send out emails trying to catch money. And, I hate all of it. I despise these people. Like, I hate politics more than anything. I watch these guys that do gun channels, and I'm like, I'm so jealous of dudes that just go out and shoot, and all they gotta do is talk about things that are machines that make sense. Like, this machine is good, and it works well because of this. And here's what I don't like about this machine, because it doesn't accomplish the task that I want it to in this way. I'm like, dude, the niche that we're talking about here.
But that's how I look at politicians. Now, I don't look at them as people. They're not people because they're politicians. They're all just pieces, you know? They're machines. Do you do what I want you to do?
Yeah.
Okay, you may say you do what I want you to do, but are you getting it done? No. Then you're useless to me, then.
You're useless to me. Yeah. Useless. They're all useless to us now. Here. I'm just saying.
That's my whole thing with Massey. Plus, and then his whole thing with the Israel, I get he's being consistent. Like, that's his whole thing. I don't want to spend money on any of these things, and I don't want to do anything like that. But what I would say to people like him is, well, you know they're going to do it. So, if I told you this is going to happen, would you rather it happen or not happen? You would say, I would rather it not happen. And then I would explain, I would say, so what are the consequences from that? Well, then we continue on the same thing. We continue the same Iran theater that we've been watching for like the last 40 years.
Yeah.
And Trump came in and said, I'm going to give you a new show. Here's my new show.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. Is it a hit? We don't know yet. I mean, CNN knows it wasn't a hit. It's bad. But, you know, we don't really know what the results are. If it turns out that Iran joined in the Abraham Accords and at the end of Trump's last term, then that means he changed the whole dynamic in the Middle East.
Well, that would be big, for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, let's focus on. I don't think their program has really like been devastated. And then all these people, they're like, "Why would you do this? Getting us into endless wars." I'm like, how do you? Like, do you know what this guy has done? He's proven to you already for 4 years. Look, I don't get wars. Yeah, I drop bombs on people, but every president drops bombs on people. That's what presidents do. It's part of their job.
Part of their job is dropping bombs on people? Come on.
It's part of the president's
That's not their job. That's not their job. They just like to do it.
Okay, name a president who didn't drop bombs on people.
George Washington.
Yeah, he dropped bombs on people. They were cannonballs, though.
Well, those aren't bombs. You asked who dropped bombs on people. I just saying who did.
Okay. Well, actually, after 1800.
After 1800.
Yeah.
I don't think it's their job to drop bombs on people, but yes, people definitely dropped bombs. I get it. I don't love it. I don't love that presidents are going out there. I want them to go to Congress and say, hey, we're looking to go to war, and here's the reasons why. And you're the elected representative of the people, and I'm going to make the battle plan, or I'm going to do the one that says yay or nay on when we do it and how we execute the plan. But I'm coming to you, and I want a declaration. I want you to let people know you effed up. America's coming, and it's going to be a small scale or a large scale. Let's vote. Let's get a declaration of war and let people do it. Nobody wants to do that because nobody wants to be on the record. By the way, you were corrected in the chat.
That's what George Bush did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you were corrected in the chat, and I think it bears saying Tom Massey was a no on the CARES Act. He was one of 5 no's on the Republican side, or 4 no's on the Republican side. It was Andy Biggs.
But he was what?
Ken Buck.
You're correct on that, but he was a co-sponsor, one of the 303 co-sponsors, which probably means that he was trying to get something into the bill.
I think everybody was trying to get stuff into the bill, and then I think a lot of them, looked at it and then made a decision. At the end of the day, you heard from a constituent, which again, he's not supposed to represent you. He's supposed to represent somebody else. So, and you can lobby him all you want. I just know, probably in a pretty factual way, that he doesn't care, having talked to him about it. He said the people who vote for me know exactly what they're getting, and they put me there to do what I do, and I do what I do because that's what they want. So I don't think people are confused about it, and ineffective maybe that your estimation. It's just, he just doesn't answer to you. That's like me telling one of my friends I don't like the way that his wife handles their household. It's like, well, Who the hell are you, man? They don't care what I think about their household.
Oh yeah, no. I'm saying that's my critique of him.
Sure.
I could care less. I know Thomas Matt from the next guy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It means nothing to me other than I'm like, dude, I heard you say this, so why aren't you doing something about it? Come on, get it done. And it's like, but I'm a pessimist, so I expect to be let down by the people I want to get those things done.
It keeps you from real disappointment if you're always expecting to be having people let you down, right? I mean, I get that. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, it's like the whole Tea Party revolution started, and I was like, these guys are all great, and then now you look at them all, the Paul Ryan, Trey Gowdy's, they all, look at them.
They all bailed. You know what? I had some guy that was so I get a dozen or 2 dozen. It depends on the week. I get about a dozen minimum emails of promoters and PR people that are trying to get somebody on my podcast. And I have no idea how I'm even we must rate high enough that it's interesting to people that like all these random PR people have my name and they send me emails and they go, would you like to talk to Vanessa, Terriston? And you're like, what? And then they're like, Vanessa is an innovator in the crypto markets, and she also was like a part-time actress. And you're like, what the shit are you talking about? Like, I don't want to talk to this person. So I get all this crazy stuff all the time. And one of them I saw the other day where I must have gotten 9 emails from this guy before I said, hey, bud, stop. Just, this is a terrible pitch, what you're doing. You're really bad at your job. I sometimes write to the PR people and tell them they're really bad at their job. Not one PR person, Renzo, this is serious. Not one person who does PR has ever sent me an email saying, I represent a number of clients that I try to place on podcasts. What sort of guests do you look for? Not one has ever asked me a question that I would call a needs assessment in a sales way. Never have I ever gotten that email. And if they had, I'd be like, oh, well, like I'm kind of in this vein and these are the kind of people I'm interested in talking to. And I'd be happy to talk to somebody that had a background that was blah, blah, blah. And I would probably answer it. And they'd be like, oh, how about this guy? And I would go, okay, well, what's his, what's the pitch? And they're like, he's promoting a new book, or he just is on a show, or he just had this lawsuit, or whatever, like he's fundraising. Like people, if somebody dealt with me honestly like that, I would bring a PR person. I would actually answer them honestly. But instead I get this person, and this guy was like, this dude helped found the Tea Party movement. And then he realized after 10 years of being ineffective as shit that he should start a new movement. And now he's going to start a new independent think tank in Washington, D.C. Do you want to talk to this asshole who doesn't do anything? And I was like, F no. I don't. I want you to get off my freaking email. You stupid clowns. You've owned yourself. You just said that you were part of a failing enterprise that promised something for a decade, and you dicked it up. And why do I want to talk to you? I don't want to talk to you ever. I'm not interested. And by the way, you're a big fat guy. He's a big fat guy. So you're a conservative big fat guy who works in a think tank that hasn't had a job as far as I can tell in probably over a decade, and you never did anything. Piss off. No, I don't want to talk to you. I should never send these emails, but I feel like such a dickhead when I get these stupid things where, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to read you one right now. While you keep talking for a minute, I'll read you one of these stupid emails. They're so bad. Yeah, this will be not a treat, but they're I'll show you how canned and dumb they are. You ready? All right. I got to go into my junk email because that's where they all live now. They all get sent directly to junk. They're always trying to sell me something. Hey, would you like us to do, what is this? Somebody has been sending me, I've had a bunch of people saying, hey, would you like to know all the law enforcement attendees at this conference? We can sell it to you. It's why would you think I would want that? What kind of dumb thing is this?
You know what that may be? That may be the federal system probably has your name from previous, because I deal with that a lot of that at my job from the SAM system. They send me all these things. You can go to this conference in Arizona to learn about cybersecurity and AI threats. And I'm like, why am I getting this?
Okay, check it out. Let me read you one. This is email number 4 of this person. Here, let me read you email number 1, which came in on the 21st. So this was 5 days ago, and since then I've gotten 2 other emails from the same person. From Lee Pantis of Lee Pantis Informed Chief of Staff. No idea what that means. Okay. Hi, Kyle. I wanted to suggest Kira Shishkin, the CEO of Informed, as a guest on your show. Kira leads Informed, a service providing clear, concise news for leaders without the usual clutter. His work is similar to your podcast focus on insightful discussions. Kira's experience as a 4-time entrepreneur and in developing advanced technology ventures such as major marketplace business and private mining operations in Eastern Europe shows his deep understanding of innovation. He can discuss how streamlined information benefits decision-making, aligning with the themes you cover. As someone with a unique personal history, Kira's journey as a Ukrainian-Israeli immigrant and his resilience through life challenges have added a depth to his insights. He brings strong audience engagement. I believe he would offer valuable perspectives to your listeners. Let me know when you're interested in having him on your show. Thanks. Like, what the shit did you just say? You have an Israeli-Ukrainian mining guy that now does news? What? What? What is that?
That sounds like a dividing guy.
Bro, did it's like, did AI write this stupid thing? Here's another one. Hi, Kyle. This is the, hold on, let me see. This is the 5th email in a chain of these emails. They just send them to you over and over again. And this one says, hi, Kyle. Wanted to circle back on my previous message, which of course goes to my spam as well, about Vem Miller joining your show as a guest. His unfolding story of being falsely accused in an assassination attempt on President Trump by Sheriff Chad Bianco helps keep stirring conversations about justice and political maneuvering. I think your audience would already value open dialogue and critical insights, would appreciate hearing Vem's perspective. This is the guy that showed up to a Trump rally with like a bunch of guns in his trunk or something. I actually remember reading his story and thinking like, that was a really dumb thing to do. Like, why would you do that? Yeah. So anyway, so they send you these. Looking forward to hearing about what you think about this dynamic story on your platform. Thanks. And then there's like some lady who's getting paid to do that. Send shitty emails without a single question. They're all... So when I was doing sales, Renzo, we used to have this like thing. This guy came in. He was like, you know what the least effective sales method is? Just picking something out of the bag that I want to sell you and try to sell it to you right away. Like if you walked into my deli, I'd be like, turkey sandwich. And you're like, what? No, dude. I'm here for pastrami. And I'm like, you know, like bologna, rye, pickle. And you're like, no, I don't want any of that. Like, why don't you ask me what I want? And you're like, I'm just going to yell shit until you say yes. Like, you know, like it's just, it's not effective. It's dumb. It's so weird.
I feel like the deli guys do that. It's like, I got old bologna. Bologna, you want bologna now?
Yeah, it's like being on. It's like Mike Lindell yelling at you about pillows. Like when you're not trying to hear about the pillow. I told people that Mike Lindell reminds me of a used mattress salesman. I don't know if that's a thing, but if there was a used mattress salesman, that's what Mike Lindell's voice is. He's been yelling so long that his voice is permanently hoarse.
I felt like he was that Crazy Eddie follower.
He is, yeah. He's got that exactly right. Yeah. Come on down to Mike Lindell's Pillow Factory, where you can get a pillow that someone else has slept in, but I'm gonna give it to you now with a new cover. Normally $49.99, but for you only $9.99 with the promo code KYLE. Kyle's gonna get $2. Do you know what our My Pillow split was, by the way? We get 25% of all sales that you get there. So whatever you buy from Mike Lindell, whoever's promo code you use, they get 25% of your total bill.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not a bad split, and I don't think their prices aren't crazy either. So, like, you know, you guys can go. You can still use. I won't promote him because he owes my friend Joe like $3.5 million. So, like, I won't promote Mike. I probably should, so maybe he can make some money and pay my friend back. But
Get it one way or the other.
Yeah, so here's the deal. What a lot of people don't realize, back in the day, the influencer market, like the Jack Posos and all those guys, they were making like $100,000 a month from My Pillow. They were making 50% of all sales. And then when Mike lost his Walmart business and some of the other things, they cut it down to 25%. And so people got like kind of pissed. Like the people that were used to making 50% of all sales were really upset. And like Mike is basically broke at this point. I don't think he has any money, and I don't think he has, like, his net worth is completely tanked. But interesting, and I know this because I know people inside of, you know, Lindell TV and the media organization, all that stuff. But But yeah, I mean, they're still out there trying to do their thing. The split's 25%. You guys can still use my promo code if you want. I'm just not going to ever promote it. You can still use Kyle. It'll still work. Like they send me an email telling me I have 0 sales every month. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't promote you. I also, Renzo, they also send me emails and they're like, this would be a great time. One of them sent me an email and I played dumb on it. And they were like, this would be a great time for an interview with Mike Lindell. And I was like, oh, what does Mike want to talk to me about? And they're like, whatever you want to talk about. And I'm like, Mike wants to have an interview with me, but he doesn't know what he wants to talk to me about. And they're like, no, Mike would come on your show. And I'm like, why? Why do I care what Mike Lindell has to say about anything right now? I'm confused. What are you asking me for? And then the same thing, they were like, consider this energy drink that we're selling now, and you can get a free Mike Cross or something like that. And I was like, what are you doing? Stop. Just stop. Stop sending me these weird emails. They're nice ladies, but like super weird. I'm the worst because I'm so transparent about stuff. Like I mean it. Like I just think it's funny. Like I get this stuff and I'm looking at it like a person that didn't do this my whole life, and this wasn't my life plan. So like when I see this weird stuff, I just laugh. I'm just like, what kind of clown show are you people used to dealing with?
I can't imagine what the clown show is behind the scenes.
It's so strange, bud. It really is. It's just like the weirdest world to be in. I catch weird email. I have people that reach out to me and say things that are super nice. I got a bunch of hate mail. I should put it on the screen. Should I put hate mail on the screen? Should we do that?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't
see.
So
this way, at least I can see it now, because
yeah.
I have no idea.
So we might as well. Okay, so look, I'll add this one. So this is one that was on the screen. Let's add this one. So a lady named Lori McCarter sent me a message today on Instagram saying, you suck. And it's a picture of, and her profile picture, right, is a picture of like a 70-year-old woman and a 90-year-old woman. Okay. And so I wrote back to her and I said, are you the old lady or the older lady? That seemed like a reasonable question, right? Like, which one are you? Who's in this picture? Who's telling me that I suck? Okay, so that was one Instagram nasty thing that someone wrote to me. What else we got here? This one is good. This is from Jenna Barre with a picture of her little kid. And she wrote, oh man, James is out to get you, ... I didn't answer that one. That wasn't that funny to me. So I was like, all right. James has like a really weird audience. This is all James O'Keefe hate mail, by the way. Okay, here's another one from Mike Amaral, who's like a fat boomer looking guy. And he said, you're a piece of shit and you're going to get yours.
I think I saw that one.
I may or may not have put these on Twitter because they're like, I spent time to screenshot them. I might as well share it with people. This is Matt Nagel. Matt Nagel said, you're a piece of shit. James O'Keefe should demolish you, you lying sack of she. I wanted to respond to him, Renzo. I really did want to respond to him and be like, you drive a Mustang. That's all I have to say. Like, you're a Mustang driver. You're like a cheerleader from the 1990s.
When I saw the video. Yeah, like, I was like, who is this? And that's why the first thing that came into my head was like the guy from Blink, that video, Blink 182 video.
Yeah, this is like, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. This guy said, get fucked, LMAO. James O'Keefe has turned you into a cuck. That's Jesus Cruz, aka or Jesus Cruz. It's a picture of him kissing his wife with their dog. Like, that's his profile picture. It's like some young married guy that's like really excited about James O'Keefe. What a turd. They didn't know that I was gonna make this part of my thing tonight, but like, yeah, I honestly, I can't. I think it's really funny. Okay, how about this guy? This guy has a picture of a basketball team as his profile picture. His name is Joey Coonrod. And he wrote, why are you a punk ass little boy? You're supposed to be grown by now, little boy. Cock-a-doodle-doo, boy. That's actually pretty good. I'm not even offended by that even a little bit. That's just good. There's a couple more I got for you here. You're the right guy to be on the phone for this. Here we go. JR, aka Dr. J.M. Marquach, has got a picture of his kid and his wife and his that's his thing, and he wrote the following message with no context: "Fucking rat bitch." Like, can you imagine? Hold on, Renzo. Like, can you imagine just like being at your computer, watching someone that you think is a cool person, you know, for whatever reason they think that about James, and then you're like, I'm so mad on behalf of this person I've never met and I don't know that I'm gonna send mean stuff for no reason to some stranger who's gonna now laugh at it, probably. What a weird instinct these people have. All right, I got a couple.
It's the retard vortex.
Bro, it is the retard vortex. No, you're right.
People like this.
Okay, here's another good one. You ready? This is Jason Good. He looks like he's about my age. Jason Good 92 wrote, "You're a corrupt cocksucker. Dirty FBI bitch just like Comey and his cabal of shitheads." Just like, what do you even respond to stuff like this? There's just nothing. I don't even know what to respond with that. Like, thank you? Politely disagree?
I just try to be nice.
Yeah, I don't have any. I did want to know if it was the old lady or the older lady. I thought that was kind of funny. Here's the last one.
Yeah.
This is Adam Richard, and he's the Derp Hummingbird. That's the name of his account. And he sent a Facebook link that I wasn't going to click on. And he wrote, "Jesus, you're awful at this game, aren't you? Get unslopped." I don't know what that means either. So, so there you go, dude.
Unslopped.
What is unslopped? What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It might need some new lingo for the youngins.
I mean, yeah, the young ones say some things that I don't know, but I don't know what unslopped means. Maybe somebody will drop it in the comments and let me know, or they can put it in the chat and I'll see it. But I think the problem is that most of the people who are listening to this also don't know what unslopped means. And I don't know how you would get there if you wanted to get unslopped. So there you go. Now we're all dumber for having done that. And now you're not mad at Tom Massey because you know that there's too many other people there that are mad about whatever they're mad about.
I can't be mad about this stuff.
Yeah.
I got a commie mayor coming in soon.
Bro, yeah. How psyched are you about the grocery stores that are going to be owned by the city?
It's going to dry. I live in the burbs, so the value of my property will probably go up because everybody will leave the city. You know?
Well, then you can afford to leave and you can move somewhere nice. You want to move somewhere nice? Where you want to move?
Either Carolina, the Carolinas, Florida, which I don't, I kind of want to, but not really. Maybe
I'm going to just, I mean, if you move to Florida, I'm going to make fun of you, and you're going to just basically be, it's like New York South, so it's just going to be a bunch of the same people.
Yeah.
It's all those people you used to hang out with that will still be there.
Which is true.
And
then my mom's in Texas, so maybe Texas. Something to say about that.
Where's she at in Texas?
Carrollton.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah. She's not. She's in. She moved out of the city because it's just too crazy as it is. And,
yeah, no, I used to go to church in Carrollton Farmers Branch. That was my jam.
I think that's where she goes.
Yeah. She go to the Catholic Mass there? She go to, what is it, Mary Immaculate?
I think so.
It's possible.
It's possible. I'm not 100%. But,
I'm not gonna hold you to 100%. Best guess. Yeah, that's fine.
She changed churches, I think, because she was going to one church. Because my mother's Korean, so she in that area. There's a lot of Asian people.
All flavors of them. Yeah. Well, you know what? There's a lot of Vietnamese at Mary Immaculate, and there were also a fair number of Koreans there. So they might even have a Korean mass, if my memory serves. It's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure they did.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one then. Because I think she goes sick right now.
I think you're making everybody's night because you keep laughing and it's making people happy. They're feeling like they're part of the relaxing hour.
Well, yeah, a little relaxing. They got the lounge music on.
Yeah, we're just chilling here. We're just lifting spirits, my friend.
So, what did you think of Dan Sprandino's ex-post today about how great and awesome everything is? And, we just have to wait until 6 to 8, I guess, which is Saturday.
Yeah, 6 to 8. The boys are actually going to do a cutesy time. So on Saturday, the AMRADs are going to do a cutesy time episode in honor of 6 to 8.
Excellent.
Yes, it is good. No, I'll tell you what, I wasn't impressed. Dan cited obviously not the only things that are going on in the FBI, but of all the things that they said in there, I think you could do that with about 200 agents. So what are the other 12, what are the other 13,500 doing? You know? I don't get it.
I don't know.
I mean, nobody else does either. So it's you're not alone. But the question is what the hell are they doing? So, and why are you acting like this is something the FBI doesn't do every day? Like what they're doing is the FBI's stuff that they do every day. That's just what the FBI is and does. So I don't know why that would be something worth putting out there. And how much time did he take drafting that damn tweet? Did he do it himself? Did someone else do it? Why?
Well, maybe that's what he needed, 8 to 12 people to help him draft the tweet.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I'm perplexed and I'm a little bit put off by the fact that he feels so compelled. Like he's so out of his element that he's going back to what he knows, and what he knows is how to do. He knows how to do that. He knows how to be a tweet guy and to write messages to people. But it's not that impressive to me.
No, and the feedback that I saw in it didn't seem like very good feedback. So
no, it did not look. It's getting less and less positive. Jen over on YouTube said they're finding hidden rooms. Maybe he's just doing a bunch of urban spelunking. He's looking around through the hallways. He's wandering around, knocking on doors, trying to find out if people are in the office.
They're looking for the wardrobe to Narnia.
They're looking for the right. Yeah, they're looking for the pathway. Maybe they can find the ship, the ship painting that'll take them into the ocean near Prince Caspian or something. That'd be exciting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just a mess.
Did you see the fact that they're doing Family Day tomorrow at the Hoover Building, and they're going to have face painting and stick horse races
at that unsafe building?
They're going to put all these families in danger, my friend. Yeah, yeah, all these families are going to be in danger going to the Hoover Building. It's unbelievable.
It's unsafe.
It's unsafe. Exactly. How could they do that to these poor families?
I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what happens with to these people. You support them to get them to where they are. They get to where they are, and then they just turn into the machine.
My favorite is that people come at me like it's my fault. They're like, what the hell have you ever done? All you did was do some whistleblowing, and then now you're nothing. And I'm like, yeah, I just called out the corruption. And I thought the assholes that we were going to put in there were going to do something about it. My bad. Yeah, it's my fault. Let me just own this problem here. It's my fault.
It's total lessons. You noticed that the screwed up shit, so it's your fault.
That's right.
You noticed it.
Yeah, it's not anybody's fault that it's screwed up. It's my fault that I noticed it and told people. God forbid. God for freaking forbid.
I mean, but as the longer and longer the nonsense goes on with them, though, the less and less support they're going to have, because people are going to start saying, hey, it has been 8 months. When are you going to get this pipe armor? Tell us what happened? Or how about, the Epstein Files videos that you said we have right away and we're going to give to you 6 to 8 months ago?
Yeah, whatever. How about that wave of transparency we were promised? I heard some news of that happening. Is that pending, or what's up?
And how, Steve Johnson's such a great person. And
he knows where all the bodies are buried, Renzo.
Yes, exactly.
He knows where the freaking bodies are buried. Apparently, apparently those bodies are up walking around though, because it's actually zombies. Because he doesn't give us anything. I've got this from Joe Henneman's article over on the Blaze. I'm gonna read you a quick paragraph. That's kind of funny. It's about halfway down in the article. They're talking about Garrett and his bad situation and the fact that he's like 1,004 days without a paycheck and all this other kind of stuff and go on. And so they're talking about how he's been kind of like circumspect and, you know, trying to play nice, but it's really frustrating and tiring. And then there's a section of the article. It's like I said, it's probably like the second or third section halfway down, and it's entitled "Just Trust Me, Bro." It says, others have taken a more in-your-face approach, including former FBI agent Kyle Seraphin on his daily podcast, The Kyle Seraphin Show. Seraphin doesn't hold his fire when criticizing the FBI. He mockingly refers to the two top leaders as Das Pongino. He's ridiculed their delays for reforming the FBI and says their attitude of one, just trust me, bro. Thanks, Joe Henneman. It's freaking epic. Oh, I love it. I love that people are out there reading my stuff and realizing that, like, I don't give a shit. And I'm so disappointed with these guys. And they're blowing it so magnificently. If they were smart, they would just be quiet. You know?
Exactly.
Just suck at your job quietly. You can get away with a lot.
Yep. Exactly.
Like, what's his name? Doug, is it what is Doug's name? The Interior Secretary. What's his name?
Doug Emhoff.
Burgum. I knew it was a B. I was trying to...
No, Burgum. Emhoff is
Yeah, that's Kamala's guy. No, so Doug Burgum. What is the Secretary of the Interior up to these days? Anybody have any idea? Is he failing?
He's doing his job. He's doing his job. There's nobody here.
Or he's not doing his job, but he's just shutting his mouth, and I haven't seen much of him. He's not trending. Just shut your mouth if you suck. Like, he might be doing a great job. He might be doing a terrible job, but nobody's going to yell at him. Nobody's yelling at Burgum. Yeah. Nobody's mad at him right now. There's not like an entire... There are zero memes with his face on it wearing a dress or dressed up like a British cop who can't find a crime or anything else. He's just doing whatever he does.
That's just the way it used to be, though.
Yeah, nobody ever heard from him.
And the assumption was he must be doing a good job because I don't hear anything, no one complaining about him, so he's doing a good job.
Yeah, or he's not doing a good job, and who cares?
The perspective is, if you're not talking about me, then I must be doing a bad job, so let me go out and wear a dress.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly where they're at right now. It's a terrible attitude. It's the worst.
You know, it's really a dichotomy of two different worlds that we're living in now. Like, there are people that just want things to be normal and obvious barriers and standards, and everybody does what they're supposed to do. So this way, you can have trust in all of these institutions. I mean, like, I like all these, like, I see all these airplane, like, engine catches on fire as the plane, this plane went from here. It's like every day now. It makes me start to say to myself, hey, you know what? I don't trust getting on one of these airplanes. Look at this. Because I don't trust the institution that's licensing these airplanes, building these airplanes, or flying these airplanes.
They seem to be putting out TikTok videos of a bunch of chicks wearing masks, doing like twerking in the aisles. That doesn't seem like their focus is great. Yeah. Imagine making a fortune, though, telling people that it doesn't matter what you say, it matters what you do, getting yourself in the position to be the guy who does it, and then just choking, like utterly failing at doing the thing that you said. God, I get messages. I probably get a dozen messages a day of people saying I'll never follow that guy again because when he had the opportunity to step up, he didn't do it. And he doesn't have at least the wherewithal to say, hey, by the way, I actually don't know how to solve this problem. Imagine that. If you'd ask me, hey, Seraphin, will you go be the deputy director? I'd be like, I don't think I'm that guy. I mean, can I help you find someone better? There's clearly a better choice than me. There's 100% chance that there's a better person that I can find in like a week. So would you like me to help you find a better person? The fact that you go in and say yes to a job that you don't know how to do, that's hubris, man. That's setting you up for that pride of the gods, and you get humbled all through history.
And like you said, if he was someone who's experienced like that, you would say, okay, this guy I think is right to do the job. But being that he was a novice going into this, the people that he surrounds himself with are the most important people, because those are the people that know what they're doing. And
that's right.
If you to choose the same people that he said needed to go.
That's right. No, look, you can go in somewhere and be the face of the franchise, but you better hire some damn good outside consultants who know what the hell they're talking about. And they better be people that have a vested interest in the same things you do. You don't surround yourself with the same assholes that are like basically lying to you for their very lives, right? Like that's what's going on there.
Yep.
Those people are literally, they are on the chopping block if they don't pull off the deception that they have to pull off. And they're winning, it turns out. They're actually winning. Unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. It's so disappointing. And like that's why I'm so flippant about it at this point. People are like, you sound bitter. I'm like, dude, I'm living in a comedy. I'm stacking ammo again because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to shoot it out with these people. Like, I've moved into the point of we're not gonna fix that organization, and at some point it's gonna get real aggressive. So I might as well start like insulating myself against whatever's coming my way. And what a sad thing to think that we actually had an opportunity to pull it out of the gutter. And instead what they did was they were like, has anyone ever run a jet ski through these sewers? And they went deeper into it. It's like, it's so dumb.
Yeah, it's like when I find out that somebody I thought, oh, this guy is definitely like a hardcore libertarian type person. And then they go to Washington and you find out they were Rhino, and they're hanging out with like Paul Ryan or Joe Boehner or whatever.
Yeah, or maybe somebody was like screaming at you about the Constitution every single night, and then you realize that they actually just are really in love with Israel, and they do the freaking what's his name? They do the Mark Levin thing. Do you know Mark Levin took my entire article about the radical traditionalist Catholics that I wrote for Tracy Beans, and he just put the whole thing in his book. The whole thing. I shit you not. He cut and pasted my entire article into his book. Renzo, I turned on Fox one day.
Doing a bad job.
I was at the Blaze. I was hanging out with Steve Baker, and I was about to go do an interview with Baker, and I think I did like Blaze Tonight or something. So I was hanging out at the headquarters up in Dallas, and I look over on the TV, and I saw that Mark Levin was reading from his new book. And he was reading my article out of his own book. And I was like, I wrote that. And Steve starts laughing and he was like, when? And I'm like, that's my article. That's my freaking article that I wrote. You gotta be shitting me. And then I looked and it was like, he read almost all of it on his Fox program at one point. And I realized that like probably a third of this chapter is my article. It's really funny. And I don't know who does that. I've never heard of anyone else doing that before. But I guarantee you the analysis that I put in that piece, Mark Levin doesn't know how to do the analysis of what the FBI does from an FBI document. So, it's not a dumb thing to do. It's just weird. I've literally never seen anybody copy and paste the whole article before. It's bizarre.
Did he say, quoting Kyle Sheridan, he says, no, it's in my book. It's coming out.
Yeah, in my book. Yeah, find out this thing. Yeah, like whatever's. I can't do I'll work on a Mark Levin impression for you guys. I'll get one done. What I really need to do to do a Mark Levin, I just gotta yell. Why are you trying to do it like this? Why do you talk like this all the time, Mark Levin? Why is he so mad? I never understood that. I turned him on and I was like, this is hard to listen to. Like the things he says are sometimes really good, but his voice is difficult to tolerate. I don't want to be yelled at by a man who sounds like someone's stepping on his nuts.
He doesn't know how to not yell. Like, even when he's not yelling, it sounds like he's yelling because that's the way his voice sounds.
I'm sorry, Mr. Producer. Because and then I'm gonna start yelling again. At some point, I'm gonna keep yelling at you.
When I used to hear him on the radio, I used to be like, is that the guy from the cartoon? It would be like, hey,
Yeah, it's a cartoon voice. It's a freaking cartoon voice, man.
Oh my god!
I think I got close on that.
I agree with some of the stuff he said.
That impression got pretty close with some people. I think they were tracking it.
Nice.
And I had the wherewithal to back off the microphone because I don't want to peek out and blow it out there. But he's so mad. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. I was good.
Cut number 5. Mr. Producer, cut number 5. Go. Cut number 5.
You gotta work on this.
I know. I should go watch a little bit of Mark Levin. I shit you not. It would take me about 20 minutes of watching Mark Levin to work through and start yelling like he does. I could do a whole segment on it. I guarantee it. I'll add it to my Alex Jones and my Bernie. I accidentally have like mediocre impressions that we do for you guys every once in a while.
The Bernie is definitely the best.
The Bernie. Oh my God! You know what? I'm gonna play you Bernie right here. Hold on. Let's see. I bet I got a Bernie right here. What do you think? Do you think I got Bernie on tap for you? I bet you I could get you.
You gotta have one.
I gotta have Bernie. Yeah, here we go. Oh, look at this guy. Ready? Bernie. What was it? Was it number? I think it was number 5.
You got to deal with this climate change issue. And I know that, there are some people who think climate change is a hoax. It ain't a hoax. I think the last 10 years have been the warmest on record. And we can create millions of good-paying jobs transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency.
Why are we going to create the jobs? The jobs are going to get created by the government. That's who would do the creations of the jobs. Because we're going to try to make it not hot. One of the great paying jobs that we create is an air conditioning system for the entire planet. It's too hot right
now. Bernie, did you notice that actually that Washington Post article said that we're actually in some of the lowest temperatures that we've had in a long time?
No, I don't think that's right. But also, I did not read the article.
All right, bro. What planet do we live on?
That was just extra funny for me because I'm watching the delay, and as you're doing Bernie's still on the screen.
Perfect.
It looked like he was saying that. No, I did not read that.
It's so dumb.
Last thing, and then I'll let somebody else call in.
Sure.
So, what do you think of the AI in-action figures? Are AI in-action figures like against the law?
I don't know if they're against the law. They might be against the law in Texas pretty soon, but I'm enjoying them. I think they have a place in the political commentary, and they seem like they're doing a nice job. And they're obviously getting picked up. You saw that Robert Barnes picked them up. So who's designing those? Are you doing them or are you finding them?
No, I found a couple. I actually designed the cash one myself.
Outstanding. The cash needs an oversized badge on the belt whenever you decide to start adding your mods to it. It needs an oversized belt badge and maybe like a UFC duffel bag or something.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the UFC belt, maybe.
Yeah.
I was totally thinking about that, but then I ran out of my free image.
Yeah, it's such a clown time. We're just, I don't know. I'm disappointed. For all of us. It's just sad. It makes me sad.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
Right.
With explanation for
should we give people? I'll let you jump off and listen to this. I'll give you guys something kind of intense to listen to since we've been so silly for a minute. I'll give people something to refocus on. You ready? All right. I'm gonna dump you off the line here like Bernie Sanders getting kicked off his private jet that he didn't tip on.
I paid all the money for this thing, and we have had all this carbon. There will be no tipping. There will be no tipping when I leave out of here.
And then he's out. All right. Renzo's gone. Let's try this real quick. Here we go.
I don't think farts are funny, but everyone...
That is not the one I was going to play you, although that is a really good palate cleanse, which we're going to try another time. No, this is the one I think we were going to play the other day. The Hank Hill one. You guys saw this probably too. Here you go. We're going to break away. You know what? No, we're not. I'm actually going to give us the lo-fi music in addition to what you're hearing there. So let's do that. Let's add the lo-fi music. There we go. Here we go.
What you listening to, son?
If you hold a gun, and I hold a gun, we can talk about the law. If you hold a knife, and I hold a knife, we can talk about rules. If you come empty-handed, and I come empty-handed, we can talk about reason. But if you have a gun, and I only have a knife, then the truth lies in your hands. If you have a gun, and I have nothing, what you hold isn't just a weapon, it's my life. The concepts of law, rules, and morality only hold meaning when they are based on equality. The harsh truth of this world is that when money speaks, truth goes silent. And when power speaks, even money takes 3 steps back. Those who create the rules are often the first to break them. Rules are chains for the weak, tools for the strong. In this world, anything good must be fought for. The masters of the game are fiercely competing for resources, while only the weak sit idly, waiting to be given a share.
What happens when you come in and you find your like 13-year-old son listening to that through his headphones? He's just listening to like dark existential podcasts from The Godfather. What do you think of that? All right. The line's open. If you guys want to do one more call, we probably can make that happen. Otherwise, I'll just give you guys a little Tony goodbye and we'll shut it down for the night. And that would be okay too. We'll do a Friendly Friday tomorrow and we'll try and have fun. If you're watching and you want to give it a thumbs up, that'd be cool. We appreciate it over on the folks on YouTube. Appreciate it for all you watching on Rumble. It does bump these things up in the algo. There's not any money that we make out of this. This month show is for you, or this call-in opportunity, this kind of hangout that we do here on Thursday nights. It's for you all. So it is, but if you want to push the thumbs up, it doesn't hurt us either. So we'll take it. I'll give it a few count. We're gonna bump up the music here on the lo-fi. I don't know why they call it lo-fi. I don't even know what that is. Maybe somebody will tell me what the lo-fi is. We'll give it about a 10 count, and then somebody wants to jump on the line, great. And if not, that would be just fine. And I will give you guys what you're asking for. You all know you want to see what Tony and Ezekiel have been up to. That's it. The people have spoken. Here it is. This is your ceremonial send-off.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony! What's your name? Ezekiel! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! Fuck you! Hey, you know what I did last night? You better not bring my mother into this! You know what I did? You better not! I broke that fly over there! Oh! And I found your mother next to it! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! Fuck you!
There's something wrong with all of you that you love this. If you want to send us mail over here at the show, you can do so. We get lots of nice postcards and all kinds of interesting writings. Folks have sent us some gift cards, which is totally unnecessary, but it's appreciated. If you want to do something like that, you can. We'll find a good home for it if we can't use them. So anyway, the address is 9073 West State Highway 29, Suite 110, Box 509, Liberty Hill, Texas, 78642. Folks that work down at the UPS store have started to recognize me coming in. They know the box. And they know that there are not supposed to be any live animals. So don't send us any chicks. Don't send us any snakes. Don't send us any cats. Don't send us any eggs of other weird things. Don't send us bugs. Don't send us critters of any kind. But anything in paper, anything that is a box of something. Some of you are real wild. You just send like boxes of random things that are in your house. That's okay too. I'll find a home for it, or I'll find use for it. Anyway, that's the P.O. box. Thanks so much for all of you that are our chatters every morning. Thanks for all of you that are supporting all the thing. This is the office. This is where we get to work, and I really do appreciate that. This is the life that I didn't know that I really enjoyed. It's a lot of fun. We have a great time on here, and you guys are a great crew. So thanks for being part of the community. All those over on Locals and on YouTube and so on and so forth. We'll see you again tomorrow morning for Friendly Friday, and that's it for us tonight. Have a fantastic rest of your evening.
Thanks for listening to The Kyle Seraphin Show, streamed live weekdays on rumble.com/Kyle Seraphin. Follow Kyle on Twitter, Truth Social, and Instagram at Kyle Seraphin.